This is the drive home with TT for the Millwall drive home. Driving home from the den, back at the den. Where it finished, Millwall 3, Real Sociedad 3. In what was a really good game to watch, actually. A load of good things to talk about, a load of substitutions. How I'm going to remember all of that without no notes, with just my memory, I have absolutely no idea, but I'm going to try and break it down for you. Before I say anything else, a company that sponsors the club, Holiday Orange, want you to know, because you're Millwall fans, they want you to know that they've got a Millwall composition going on. So like I said, they're partners of the club, they sponsor the club. They're giving away a Millwall shirt. Now, not many people give away Millwall shirts, so this is your opportunity to get one. All you need to do is follow Holiday Orange on Facebook, like their page, and then get a quote for a holiday. That puts you in the draw for a free Millwall shirt. Now, why not? Why not have a little go? See if you win anything. Like I said, they're official sponsors of the club. Their name was all around it. It was holidayorange.co.uk. But if you want to just follow them on Facebook, like their page, get a quote for a holiday, and I think they give discounts for Millwall fans, actually 20% off. I saw it as it was going round. Why not? Do you know what I mean? It's there if you want it. Now let's get back to the football. And it was, like I said, I'm positive walking out of there. There are a lot of things to still be concerned about, but overall, we scored 2 absolutely belting goals. Zach enjoyed himself, and as a run out for the players before the season starts, I think it was a really good test. Real Sociedad are an excellent side. They've got some excellent quality players that can play the ball around, which we're going to get to a certain degree in the Championship. Players like Mendy and Zurutuza in the midfield, they really could put their foot on the ball and just play the ball around. So it was a good test. Anyway, we started with Frank Fielding in goal. 3 goals against him, which is disappointing. I think maybe only one of them he probably should have saved. He did make one other good stop that I can remember, pushing the ball wide. He claimed a couple of crosses well. I still feel far more confident in our goalkeeper than I did this time last year. I know some people around me were criticising him for some of the goals, but they were some, the shot from outside the box was in the bottom left-hand corner, the second goal that they scored. The first goal was from Isaac, who's a quality striker, again, and he buried it. There was very little we could do. And the third goal that we did concede, that maybe was a bit at fault, was bobbling in around the box. He's got to react quickly, and he doesn't react quickly enough, and it kind of bobbles round him. But overall, I think he done well enough, and I'll give him a 6. Starting defence was Marlon Romeo at right back. We had Murray Wallace at left back, and a centre back pairing of Cooper and the captain, El Capitan, Alex Pearce. I thought defensively we look solid. What we rely upon is the midfield in front closing down the players in and around the box, and we didn't get that. We've got lack of pace with Murray Wallace at left back, but he makes up with it for a lot of the time with his strength. The problem we had is the third goal that they scored was completely, Murray Wallace has completely got done for pace. He's just knocked it past him, run to the byline and cut it back. He was a bit unlucky with the ball that went into the box. But it is slightly cause for concern, the lack of pace that we've got there. And if you don't have someone defensive in front of him, which we're not normally, our wingers are wingers, it then means that the central midfielders have to spread wide to give extra cover. And that it led to the second goal being scored, because both centre midfielders were split, which gave the person on the edge of the box, Zurutuza, so much space to just wander in and hit the shot. And that is concerning for the season. We can't allow players of quality, players in the Championship, the ball in and around our box, because they will punish us like Real Sociedad done today. I was happy with the balls into the box. That, again, for anything other than set pieces, from set pieces we seem to switch off, and we keep getting done with a near post run. I don't know what we need to do in training, but we've got to prevent that ball coming in at the near post from corners. And I don't know whether Harris is giving that job to the central midfielders or the midfielders rather than defenders. But either way, it's something we really need to focus on because we look vulnerable from it. For years, we've had Morrow there at the near post, knocking everything away, being hard to beat. Today, we didn't have that, and that we need to really focus on that, in my opinion, because it looks a weak point of our defence. Romeo looked good going forward, and the third goal that was scored was absolutely, it was Leonard come on in the second half. It was a real bit of quality in terms of he's crossed it over, and Marlon Romeo does a first time pass into Mahoney, who then does the rest of the business, and I'll talk about that in a second. But Romeo's pass there, he made it look so easy, and it really isn't, and it's that's what he adds to the team. I'll give Romeo a 6. I'll give the rest of the defensive line a 6. Murray Wallace, like I said, he was strong. He out-muscled Adnan Januzaj, who, remember, scored the goal against England in the World Cup. So there were no rubbish players that we were playing against. But I'll give Murray Wallace also a 6 for what he did. Now we'll move on to the midfield. We started with Jed Wallace on the right. We had the central midfield pairing of Sean Williams and who was the other centre? Ben Thompson, obviously, and then the left midfielder was Connor Mahoney. Obviously, they swapped wings, Mahoney and Wallace, but they were dangerous. They both looked to run at the both of them played like normal wingers. They both looked to get at them. Mahoney was a little bit more effective than Jed today. Jed had a couple of runs where he wasn't laid in. I think he got a little bit frustrated with that, quite rightly. But they're going to cause problems to defences this season with both of them on the wing, and then obviously Scalak came on in the second half, also looking to run at players. We are going to be dangerous from that, I think. They have the ability to run at players, and no defences in any standard of football likes the ball coming at them. Jed didn't really have, I said to Zach after Williams missed his penalty, and he can't ever take penalties again as far as I'm concerned, because he passes the ball in for a penalty, which is, as the way I look at it is, Williams, when he gets a penalty, it's 50-50 whether he's going to score. I think he's going to hit the target, but if the keeper goes the right way, he's saving it because he's just passing it. So there's not enough power for the ball to go past the goalkeeper. And I said to Zach that when Wallace is just going to hit the ball for the penalty, I just felt like just hit the ball, and it worked. Again, it was a little bit fortunate, but the power knocked it past the keeper. So the keeper's made the save, but not enough to be able to prevent the ball from going into the back end of the net. So we deservedly went 1-0 up, I felt, at that stage. Real Sociedad, after the first 10 minutes, came right back into it. I don't think we really sat back, but they're a team that are quality on the ball. They can pass the ball around, and I don't understand when we do that. If we press, our strikers press on our midfield drop, and I never think that works. I think you've either got to press with the whole team or drop. Otherwise, the two strikers are just isolated and basically not in the game. And I felt like that, for the last 30 minutes of the first half, we seemed to be able to just give them possession, and there wasn't enough pressure on them in the midfield. And both Thompson and Williams were all over the place, but there was no concerted effort of pressure. Certainly, like I said, certainly on the edge of the box, which is where we're going to need to do. Let them spread the play wide and then pressure them, but you can't allow them to be in the centre of the goal and have the ball there. I will give Jed Wallace, I thought, deserved a 6.5, 7. Mahoney, I thought, was excellent. Like I said, I touched on his goal earlier a little bit, and it was a great cross ball from Leonard. Touchdown from Romeo, who put it into Mahoney, who drives in at the near post, cuts it back, and then absolutely belts it with his left foot into the top left-hand corner. Was an excellent goal and a really good way of signing off our pre-season, really. But what I loved about Mahoney is his delivery into the box. His set pieces, were fantastic. The first penalty came from a delivery from Williams to him, from Williams to Smith, who brought the ball down well. But the second goal was a corner. The Real Sociedad players all over Cooper, pulling his shirt back. It was as blatant as anyone could see. And that's what Mahoney brings. Quality deliveries force defenders to make mistakes, and he did that. So Connor Mahoney, I think, gets an 8. We'll move to Williams and Thompson in the middle of the park. I thought Williams started the game quite brightly, faded away after a little bit after the penalty miss. It wasn't his worst performance in this pre-season, but he still seems to me to be too lethargic. He just gets caught in possession too much. He gets beat to the ball. And then when you compare it to when Leonard came on in the second half, Leonard has done 2 absolutely world-class balls for the 2 goals that I can remember that really stand out to me in pre-season, other than Tomo's, which I'm going to go on to. But Leonard's cross-field ball to Romeo for the Mahoney goal was absolutely superb. And I just don't think that Williams is quite up to that level at the moment. And if you want that ball-playing midfielder, Williams is second best at the moment. And there's no other way of putting it there. So Williams, I'll give a 6. And because I talked about Leonard, like I said, I thought he was excellent when he came on. He only had 20 minutes when we made a raft of changes in the second half, but I'll give him a 7 because I felt like he was, you know, his quality of ball distribution was really good. We'll move on now to Ben Thompson, and it was another absolutely cracking performance from Ben. Breaks up the play well, gets out well, but it's taken me 11 minutes to say this, but the goal from Thompson, you'll see it on social media, you'll see it on YouTube, you'll see it all over the place, and deservedly so. What an absolute... He wins the ball back. It was a bad pass by the Real Sociedad defender. Cuts in and absolutely smashes the ball into the postage stamp top right-hand corner. It was one of the best goals I've ever seen at the Den. You know, and Thompson scored a few quality goals at the Den, but that was really good and brought us back level at the time to make it 2-2. Obviously they went 3-2 ahead after that, but you look at, he just excites me, Ben Thompson. He, not like that, but he excites me footballing wise. Just, he's got so much energy, so much desire, so he gets and you can't underestimate also his passing. His passing's really good. A couple of times really spreading the play to the right side. And I can give Thompson, I'm going to give him an 8. I was close to giving him a 9 just for the goal, and you could have argued that he could potentially have got a 9. But I thought his play was excellent. We'll now move to our strikers. Aiden started with Matt Smith up front. Matt Smith was a right handful. You know, Real Sociedad he was winning everything. First half, just completely dominated the centre-back, Magnan, who got booked for obviously bringing him down. You know, the first penalty came from an excellent ball from Williams, I must say. Smith's chested it down, gone in on goal. He's through on goal, and the defenders had to literally wrestle him to the floor and deservedly gets a book in. But he was just absolutely running roughshod over them. You know, bringing Aiden into play, winning everything in the air. He even laying off to Jed in the second half. He should have done it a second time, but he didn't. But he was a real handful and looked promising, I've got to be honest. From what else I've seen of him in pre-season, he certainly, for me, he's got to start. The way he plays, he's got to be in the starting lineup. And then you look at Aiden, and so Smith, I'll give a 7. Aiden, on the other hand, he does bits in games. You know, he has little bits of quality, but he doesn't join it all together, and that he needs to work on. Just having a complete game. And I'm not sure at the moment what he's bringing. I'm not sure what Aiden's bringing to the side when he's up front. I want him to get a decent run out, and he's had that. But I don't know whether it's a lack of confidence. I don't know whether it's a lack of pace. But he's got in behind him a couple of times, and you just want him to have a shot, and he just maybe holds the ball too long. Aiden's got a game in him. I just don't know whether he's in between for us, whether he's a left midfielder, a left winger, or a striker. But at the moment, he's not really making a massive claim for any one of those positions. So I'll give Aiden a 6. Like I said, in the second half, we had an absolute load of changes. Fergie came on and played left back for Wallace. Skalat came on and played right midfield, left midfield. Leonard came on in the centre of the park, and then we had Budfarson and Tom Bradshaw up front. And what I liked about them is the fact that they were really lively, really a load of desire to chase the ball down. But like I said previously, you can't allow your strikers to chase the ball down and then not push up, because we make it too easy for teams to play out from the back. We either go and press or we drop, and we're a little bit in between at the moment. Zach, who's your man of the match?
It was either Tomo or... Who's our left mid called again?
Mahoney.
Yes, because they both scored cracking goals, but they both played well. They both intercepted play and played well. They just passed well.
Yeah, no, obviously I can't disagree, and you've heard what I've said, but it's good. Preston's a very tough matchup next week. You know, they're a very, very good side. They were one of the better sides to come to the Den last season, and it's going to be a tough game, and it'll be a kind of a mark to see where we are, because if we can, because they pass the ball around well, they've got really good attacking players. I like the way that Preston buy in players, so it's as good a test as we're going to get for the opening day of the season. I don't think our season will be judged certainly on the first game, but after today, we've got bits right. It's starting to come together. We've got players that can score goals, which is important. We've got players that can beat a player, which is also important. We've got players in the central midfield that can run on the ball. And saying about central midfield, you know, Billy Mitchell's got his home debut today, which I obviously love to see. I hope he still stays in and around the squad, because I think he can make a difference there. So he obviously only got 5 minutes at the end, but it made a crunching tackle, which I'm sure he would have loved. But we've got bits right at the moment. It hasn't all completely come together, but we've got bits right. And that's all you can really do in pre-season. I don't think we're the finished article yet, and the first few games will be good to see how we compare to the other teams in the Championship. I think we've bought well. I want to see what Budvarsson and Bradshaw can bring. I know Bradshaw was obviously last season, but we didn't really get to see what he offered. The only disappointing thing, again, is the fact that our strikers are not scoring goals. We've not scored any goals from our strikers today. And if we're going to survive in the Championship, we need our strikers to be getting 10, 15 goals, at least a couple of them to be picking that up. So that's the only thing that and the defence, which sounds amazing. There are bits to work on all the way through, but overall, I'm pretty pleased with the way the pre-season's gone. I'm pretty excited for the season, and we'll be there. Obviously, me and Zach will be there. You know, I spent all night last night in A&E with my wife, and hopefully everything goes all right with that. I'm glad I got to take Zach out to the Den, and you know, football's important no matter what happens in life, and it was good to be at the Den. Don't forget to do Holiday Orange. Thanks very much for the likes. So we smashed 200 likes last time, which is pretty unheard of. So thanks very much for that. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Lions.